He did it. Vic's voice felt like a whisper on the wind. The kid had released a black hole inside the tail section of the acid rat. Blue's scientists had managed to start pulling in energy from the black hole and reignited the central star. No one said anything. They all just looked up at the now bright sky. There wasn't anything to say. Lou didn't know Joey, but being in the military, he must have lost a friend or two. June had been in love with Joey and had curled up and wasn't moving. Vic wanted to do something, anything, but he felt numb. There was no way he could have done what Joey had. The kid proved himself as selfless as anyone could be. No long goodbyes. Just get the job done. Vic wished the kid could be back here. He'd be a lot nicer to him, that's for sure. This entire situation was all his fault. There wasn't anyone else to blame. If Vic hadn't insisted on going off and trying to get one more planet instead of taking a break, then none of this would have happened. It was time to change his ways and listen to his crew more than he had. Perhaps he'd been pushing just a little too hard. Blue broke the silence. Now that the central star has a power source, it would be wise for us to return to the ground. The last guard still on the ship will collect us soon. We are in orbit around the central star, but with a black hole also in orbit, it would be unwise for us to remain here. We are no longer in any danger. Thank you for your assistance. It will be nice when you rejoin your friend Joey Provoski. June's sobs became somewhat audible through the thick gel inside the guard. Her emotions radiated out so powerfully it was difficult not to be overcome with grief. Vic didn't want to lash out at Plu. The big blob didn't understand death or sacrifice. The goo would just all merge back together at some point and start over. Plu was all these beings, and all these beings were Plu. All its experiences would never be forgotten. No one would ever miss it or mourn it. It always had been and always would be. After spending so much time merged with the guard, Vic knew that. Plu, we're going to need a few minutes. He tried to convey his thoughts to Plu about how Joey wasn't coming back. He tried to get across that each of them was an individual, and once that individual was gone, they were gone forever. There was no bringing him back. Victor Gallegos, I'm speaking to you. I sense a change in the mood of the rest of your friends. It seems that I have misunderstood your species. I will do what I can to make this right. It's okay, Blue. These things happen. The kid did what needed to be done and saved us all. We, us beings, don't live forever. We just need to grasp this situation and deal with it. The ship started to drift away from the central star and back down toward the ground. Now that he had his ship back, Vic wanted to get out of the guard's body and walk around. He felt no hurry to get the ship repaired or back in the air. There would be more than enough time to get things done that needed to be done. Plu and his replicants were able to make power sources. They would be able to effect repairs. Vic? Miss June? Is everyone there? I was so frightened when those 3 men came on board that I hid in the medical pod. They disabled little Miss Silver Muffin. I didn't know what to do. None of you were here. I didn't think that they would damage the ship. Bob clicked its claws together. Why are all of you in these big things? Can I help you out of there? Vic, just keep that thing away from me, Lou said. I know it's part of your crew, but I don't like it. Don't worry, Lou. Bob isn't going to hurt anyone. Plu, we should be close enough to the ground to come out of these replicants now. As you wish, Victor Gallegos. Bob slid down the ladder and rolled between the guards. These are so big. I thought they were dangerous. Did they eat you? Can you get out? Should I do something? Why is one melted all over the floor? How will I ever get this cleaned up? All of you are being so quiet. Did all of you lose the ability to talk? What should I do? Vic allowed his body to flow forward and then down onto the floor. He'd forgotten that, although he could talk to one another, Bob wasn't part of the conversation. What a strange being, Victor Gallegos. It does not appear to be real. That's Bob, Vic said, and paused before continuing out of the guard. He's a robot, a binary obedient butler. He helps her out around the ship. He asks a lot of questions. And he's scary. It's not right, Lou interjected. Lou, be nice. Vic was happy to have someone else from Earth with them, but Lou was quickly getting on his nerves. He wanted Joey to be back with them. Vic flowed down and scooped June up in his arms. Her body quivered and convulsed. She was sobbing. He'd have to take care of her later. Once outside of the blob, he handed her to Bob. It was odd to walk again after being inside the guard's body. He thought they might be all covered in slime, but he was dry as a bone. Take her to her room. Her sobs faded as Bob rolled back up the ladder and down the passageway. Argmon put a hand on Vic's shoulder. Thanks, buddy. Why don't you and Dexter see if there's something you can do about Muffin? Argmon sniffed and motioned for Dexter to follow him. The smaller version of Plu and Lou stood just behind Vic. He turned around. Hey, man, I'm sorry about Joey. I didn't know him, but I know what it's like. You know. Vic nodded. Is there anything I can do? This is also new to me. Any idea where those cops went? Vic didn't care where the cops had gotten off to. It didn't matter. They had the acid rat back. Plu's planet was safe. For all he cared, BT Justice could haul them off and take them to jail. Why don't you head up to the ladder? There's a galley. Maybe you can make something to eat or grab a beer or just kick back and relax. I need to talk to Plu here. Sure thing, boss. Lou scurried up the ladder faster than anyone else in the crew ever had. The Marine was in great shape. He'd make a nice addition to the crew. Vic just needed time to get used to another person he'd have to be responsible for after Joey. That wasn't going to be easy. Plu, I think I need to do some repairs on my ship. I have already conveyed what I could gather from you and your crew about your ship. The scientists are working on a device that would allow you enough power to get to a nearby star system where you might be fully repaired. I had hoped that once you've taken care of your ship, you might return here. Plu, once I leave this place, I don't think we're coming back. I think you misunderstand my request, Victor Gallegos. I would like to hire your ship and its services. Now, just what do you think me and my crew can do for you? Plu jiggled, something like laughter. I'd like for you and your crew to take my planet back to its home star. Even though we will not require it for some time, it would be nice to know that when we've exhausted the power of the black hole, we could resume our normal lives. Vic hadn't thought of that. Of course Plu's planet would need to be returned to its home star. I can't let you hire my crew. Why not, Victor Gallegos? It's me and my crew that got you out here in the first place. I'll make sure to get you back home. Doesn't matter what it takes. Vic held out his hand to seal the deal. Plu looked at his hand and waited. You put your hand in mine. It's a way of saying that you agree to my terms. I find your terms most agreeable, Victor Gallegos. Plu extended an arm that enveloped Vic's hand. Vic shrugged and shook. The ship landed back near the palace. The guards all flowed off the ship, and the guard Vic assumed to be dead was taken along with them as well. He wondered if they'd have a service for their fallen comrade. He looked up at the central star with a small black dot orbiting it. In a way, Joey would always be part of this place now. Vic was proud to have known him, and would make sure that the crew gave the kid a great send-off when they delivered the planet back to its home star. No one else came along except Lou, who just complained about Bob incessantly and how creepy the robot was. For the most part, Vic tuned him out. The last thing he needed right now was someone complaining. He needed some peace, some quiet, and time to think things through. All the guards flowed up the stairs. 2 guards assisted Vic, Lou, and Plu up the stairs. They got to the top as the last of the guards disappeared into the pool, and that Vic still had a difficult time grasping was Plu. Just like all these guards were Plu, and beings he hadn't even seen were Plu. Victor Gallegos, the guard that assisted Joey, had already returned to the pool. I thought you might be interested to know that. Why would I be interested in knowing that? In answer to Vic's question, a tendril of goo rose from the pool and laid Joey on the floor at his feet. He looked like he was sleeping. He was pink-skinned, naked, hairless, and missing his artificial hand. Is that... Vic cut Lou off. Plu, is this some kind of joke? What's that? It is your crew member, Joey Provoski. The kid died up there saving our asses. We all saw that thing blow up. No, that's not how it happened at all. I thought you understood that once they had initiated the sequence to release the black hole, the guard and Joey Provoski were able to get away. I'm afraid they both suffered severe injuries. There's nothing else I can do for him. I have held him in a sort of stasis. He was undamaged by the black hole's release, but when the star reignited, he and the guard were fairly close to get hit with a great deal of heat. So this is Joey? Vic pointed to the body. Yes. Blue made a motion similar to nodding. And he's going to be all right? As best I can tell. I heard the robot on your ship mention that you had a medical pod on board your ship. I could assist you in getting him back there.
You've been listening to Hollow, V&A Shipping, Book 2, written and read by J.R. Murdoch. For more information about this production and its author, visit jrmurdoch.com. There are a lot of ways you can choose to spend your time. Thank you for choosing to spend it with me.